In the top stories, Nevis Island Assembly government and opposition members sworn in. Good governance draft legislation to go before Parliament. And St. Kitts Nevis shaken by morning earthquake. The details on these stories and more after the break.
In cricket, there are a few essentials. A bat, a pitch, a ball, some fielders, and plenty of refreshments. Enjoy the cricket with Angostura Chill. Angostura Chill, the official refreshment partner of the Hero CPL T20.
New Me in 2023, coming to Cots Optical today, and enjoy up to 35% off your frames and lenses with flexible payment plans available from 3 to 24 months. Schedule your appointment online today on www.cotsoptical.com. At Cots Optical, our comprehensive eye exam is always free. All major insurance providers are accepted. See in store for details. New Me 2023 with glasses from Cots Optical. Value you can see.
Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Carla Barrage. On Thursday, government and opposition members were sworn in as members of the Nevis Island Assembly during the opening session of the new parliamentary term of the Honourable House. Thursday's session was the first convening of the Assembly since the Nevis Island elections, which were held on December 12, 2022, and began with the election of a new president in Her Honour Michelle J.S. Slack. Honourable Mark Brantley, Premier of Nevis, took the oath as representative for St. John. Honourable Eric Evelyn, Deputy Premier, took the oath as representative for St. George. Honourable Spencer Brand swore an oath as representative for St. Paul. Senator Honourable Troy Liburd affirmed the oath as a nominated member of the Nevis Island Assembly. And Senator Honourable M. Janelle Nisbet swore an oath as nominated member of the Nevis Island Assembly. On the opposition benches, Honourable Janice Daniel Hodge took the oath as representative for St. James, and Honourable Cleone Stapleton Simmons was sworn in as representative for St. Thomas. Her Honour Mrs. Hyleta Liburd delivered the 2023 Stone speech. Present at the occasion were Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Honourable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, Deputy Prime Minister, several other members of the Federal Cabinet, members of the diplomatic and business community, officials from the ministries within the NIA, heads of various statutory agencies, as well as citizens and residents. Good governance draft legislation will make its debut next month when Parliament convenes. Attorney General Honourable Garth Wilkins said that the Anti-Corruption Bill, Freedom of Information Amendment Bill, Integrity in Public Life Amendment Bill, and the Official Gazette Bill will be read in the Federal Parliament for the first time on February 8, 2023.
What these legislations do is that they create a good governance infrastructure to control the operations of government. The reason that we've added the Official Gazette Bill is so that people can have full access to the laws of this country. When I was in the meeting, the Commonwealth Law Ministers meeting, I had a very, very long discussion with one of the senior officials in the Seychelles Attorney General's chambers, and he said that since they created the Official Gazette Act, which allows all laws to be published online, not just showing up at the government printry, they have seen the impact that has had in educating the people about the laws of their country.
The Attorney General indicated that the Attorney General's chambers awaits feedback on the anti-corruption bill circulated in November 2022 from the Bar Association, the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, and the Christian Council. He said that the government will proceed whether or not feedback is received, as the good governance legislation, quote, is a promise made and it will be a promise that is kept, end quote. An earthquake was felt in sections of the island on Friday morning. The UE Seismic Research Center has confirmed reports that a magnitude 6.1 earthquake occurred at 7:30 a.m. at a depth of 117.3 kilometers. According to a seismologist at the UE Seismic Research Center, the tremor was felt as far north in Angola and as far south in St. Lucia. He said they, quote, have not observed more activity in the region, but from time to time we record moderate size, less than magnitude 6.0 earthquakes, end quote. The center said it annually records 3,000 earthquakes across the region. The seismologist said the Eastern Caribbean is an active seismic zone and is driven by the subduction of the North American plate below the Caribbean plate. The center records moderate-size earthquakes along with larger events annually, and the center has always advocated the need to be prepared for large-size earthquakes. The public is encouraged to be prepared for any earthquake event and to have emergency plans and kits in place and ensure homes and businesses are earthquake safe. The Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Caribbean Development Bank, launched the Enhancing Learning Continuity ELC project on Wednesday at the Kuna Conference Center. Dr. Martin Baptiste, Chief of the Social Sector Division in the Caribbean Development Bank, explained the role of CDB in the actualization of ELC.
On behalf of the Caribbean Development Bank, it is a pleasure to participate in the launch of this Enhancing Learning Continuity project. This is a project which has been made possible by special funds resources of the bank allocated by the Inter-American Development Bank under the Global Loan Program, which was intended to build health, social, and economic resilience in OECS member countries.
Dr. Baptiste applauded the Ministry of Education and the steering committee of the project for the work done in ensuring the ELC project comes to fruition and pledged his institution's continued support. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister responsible for Education, Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, conveyed gratitude on behalf of the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
It is commendable that the Enhancement of Learning Continuity project demonstrate the recognition that for the education sector there must be systems change for there is a positive and in order to have a positive and sustained change. We welcome and commit to facilitating the target human capital development and culture change project focus, and I pledge my support to this initiative and wish it well.
Minister of Education, Honorable Dr. Jeffrey Hanley. After the break, St. Kitts and Nevis prepares for end-of-year COP28, and Foreign Minister wraps up working visit to the United Kingdom. Stay with us.
Here are your Hartsford Value Mart IGA Value Club specials from January 12th
to the 25th.
Here are your Blue Tag specials. Planters Dry Roasted Peanuts, $13.49. Essential Everyday Barbecue Sauces, $6.99. Culinary Circle Pizza, $29.99. Essential Everyday Broth, $7.99. Post Honey Bunches of Oats, $12.99. Palmolive Dish Liquid, $12.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. The Hunt Spaghetti Sauce, $6.49. Nestle Flavored Water, $3.99. IGA Peanut Butter Creamy and Chunky, $9.99. Kraft Mayonnaise, $18.99. The Colgate Toothpaste, $9.99. IGA and Essential Everyday Salad Dressing, $9.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Telemis Foundation.
¿Está listo? Y haga sus compras aquí a Value Mart.
Want to get away? Now you can.
Stop
standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Welcome back. St. Kitts and Nevis is preparing for the 28th session of the Conference of Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, COP28, which will be held from November 30th to December 12th in the United Arab Emirates. This, according to Minister of Environment and Climate Action, Honorable Dr. Joyelle Clark, during the Prime Minister's press conference on Wednesday.
Now, in terms of COP27, and we're heading to COP28, first thing I want to say is that we have made a decision to expand our delegation for COP28, and I'm putting the Prime Minister and his office and call right now. He's joining our delegation and leading the delegation in COP28 in November, right? Right. And the department has been working very closely with the New York mission in terms of selecting persons. One, we have selected another young person who would be part of our OASIS delegation. So they have 1 full year of training and development to lead on the loss and damage conversation.
She also said that the country has appointed persons to sit on the Transitional Committee of the Loss and Damage Fund, along with Barbados and Suriname. The Loss and Damage Fund aims to provide financial assistance to nations most vulnerable and impacted by the effects of climate change. Dr. Clark said St. Kitts and Nevis continues to work locally as a mandate from COP27 to, quote, have a mini COP so that more young persons could join the needed conversation on loss and damage, end quote. She also said that there is a need for people to be educated on environmental and climate matters. Following the Prime Minister's state visit to Taiwan and realizing that environmental matters start being discussed with preschoolers, a conversation is now being had with the Ministry of Education and the Department of Gender Affairs to get students involved. Countries around the world are aiming to maintain an average global temperature increase of 1.5 degrees Celsius as stipulated by the Paris Agreement and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Foreign Affairs Minister, the Right Honorable Dr. Denzil Douglas, left London on Friday after what's being called a productive 4-day working visit to the United Kingdom. Dr. Douglas described this visit as constructive and eye-opening. He said he is excited about the opportunities and the interest witnessed in London and looks forward to working with partners across government and new partners in business to ensure that the country's sustainable development ambitions are realized. Minister Douglas held intensive meetings with several high net worth individuals who wanted to learn more about the new government's priorities and investment opportunities. There was keen interest in working with St. Kitts and Nevis to identify specific opportunities in renewables, hospitality, financial services, agriculture, and healthcare. Dr. Douglas also met with Commonwealth Secretary General, the Right Honourable Patricia Scotland. Ms. Scotland briefed the Foreign Minister on the current work program of the Secretariat and on initiatives undertaken to support small and vulnerable states in the areas of climate change, climate finance access, the Universal Vulnerability Index, digitization, and training opportunities. Dr. Douglas congratulated her on her re-election and conveyed best wishes from Prime Minister Drew and emphasized the government's support for the work being carried out by Secretary General Scotland. Government and financial officials were among those invited to a ceremony on Thursday to launch the year-long celebrations of the 40th anniversary of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. More in this report.
The event was held at the Sir Cecil Jacobs Auditorium under the theme ECCB at 40, a year of celebration and implementation. Delivering his opening remarks, ECCB Governor Timothy Antoine noted that over the past 4 decades, despite numerous obstacles, the bank has remained resilient and continued to grow.
We have endured external economic shocks, hurricanes, volcanoes, recessions, and most recently a pandemic. But here we are, still standing. And lest we forget, all fair were not given much hope or help. Hence our argument for reparatory justice to survive.
The keynote address was presented by Prime Minister of St. Lucia and Chairman of the ECCB Monetary Council, Philip Pierre. He described the bank as an example of stability for the region and specifically noted the consistency of the value of the EC dollar.
The bank, since July 1976, has maintained the fixed exchange rate pegged to the US dollar at EC 270 to US $1. This arrangement has served the currency union extremely well. It has delivered relatively low inflation and confidence for both consumers and investors, thereby facilitating a stable environment for growth and investment. It is a fact that the EC dollar is one of the most stable currencies in the entire world.
The ceremony also included a presentation to national hero Sir Kennedy Simmons, who was a signatory to the ECCB agreement in 1983. Prime Minister, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, who is also an ECCB Monetary Council member, made the presentation to Sir Kennedy. The proceedings continued with the unveiling of the winning entries in various 40th anniversary competitions. The winner of the logo competition was Jerome Cedra, while Vereen Shiverton won the theme competition. The stamp design competition was held in various age groups. Vedant Shetty of St. Vincent and the Grenadines won the age 5 to 11 category. Mia Emanuel from St. Lucia won in the 12 to 17 year age group, and Maxton Rock of St. Vincent and the Grenadines won the 18 and over category. A special award was also presented to Dennis Delaney Richards and Dr. Marika Gray for designing and coloring the original logo of the bank 40 years ago. Jasmine Thomas accepted on behalf of Dr. Gray. Jason Davis for ZIZ News.
The Rotary Club of St. Kitts hosted 11 visiting Rotarians from District 7430 in Pennsylvania this week. Throughout the week, the Rotarians participated in various Rotary projects, including the distribution of food and the donation of dictionaries to schools and tours across the island. On Thursday, the visiting Rotarians made a presentation at the Rotary Club of St. Kitts meeting. President of the Rotary Club of St. Kitts, Sonia Parry, outlined what took place on Thursday.
Today is basically a statutory meeting of the club. We have a number of Rotarians from the state of Pennsylvania who are visiting us, and we wanted to give them an opportunity to explain to the other members of the club where they're from, what they're involved in, what they do in their own clubs, and what they do in their district.
Past District Governor Cindy Horniman said the group was pleased to visit St. Kitts and successfully undertake the projects.
We were very happy to be able to present our governor and a presentation to the St. Kitts Rotary Club for fun and fellowship as well as service. And we can't thank you enough for being able to be here.
The visiting group from District 7430, southeastern Pennsylvania, was led by District Governor Len Geisler. Coming up in regional news, Trinidad and Tobago Police issue warning to parents of minors caught in gang-related activities.